Hello, it's Riikka Kovasin here. This time I'm making an altered vinyl record. I'm starting by adding some dimension to the record. For that I'm using a stencil and some modeling paste. I chose this script kind of stencil because, well, that in my opinion goes to any project, so that's a perfect first layer. On top, even though the paste is still wet, I'm then starting to build the dimensional composition. For that I'm using chipboard, metal embellishments and securing those with a really heavy body gel media. The record in question is something my husband brought me from a trip, and it has the Danse Macabre in it, and that's a little reference to a TV series we are watching or have been watching. So I wanted to use that as a base for this creation. For the focal point I chose a moth, and that's molded embellishments using hot glue. I then let the project air dry, and after all the mediums are dry I then use black gesso to cover everything. So even though the embellishments look a bit weird first, they are going to be painted over, so that doesn't play that much of a role here. When I then have the gesso dried, I start to layer acrylic paints on top. For this project I chose this kind of a teal color, well, one of my favorites, but also I wanted to use these delicate flowers I've been hoarding for a while. It seems to be a kind of a theme this month, using what I have from my stash, and those are these minty colored, so that's why I chose this kind of a teal color. I'm also adding a little bit of that minty color there. I'm using water to dilute the paint, but just trying to mind not to put too much of the water there so I don't dilute the binding agent too much. When I'm then happy with the coloring, I let the project air dry again. And air dry because there's the hot glue embellishments, so if I would use the heat tool I might just melt those, so it's better to let them air dry. When the project is then dry, I'm using dry brushing and adding a little bit more of that minty color on top to highlight the texture. When that layer is then dried, I then add some wax. I chose this kind of a peacock feathers looking turquoise, and I'm first adding that here and there to add a little bit shine to the whole thing, and then I complement that with gold color. I'm just using my finger and lightly going over the design so the colors are coming just to the raised areas, highlighting again that texture. Next, it's then time to add the flowers. For those, I'm just using craft glue, placing them as the kind of a top layer, this horizontal element running across the altered thing. I'm then using the same craft glue to add some sparkle to the background. I'm using water to dilute it so it's more like a gel in a way, and then first add these metal shavings on top, which I got from a crafty friend, and then I'm also adding some clear glitter on top to give it a little bit more sparkle and shine. As a finishing sparkle element, I'm then also adding some pearls here and there in the teal colors. You'll see them in a minute. When I then have these elements all in, I'm letting the project again dry before getting rid of the extra by just lightly tilting the project and pouring extra off. I then used the diluted glue to add some splashes over the whole thing and then add a layer of glitter again, so I get these glitter splashes, and after drying the project is done. I hope you liked the video. This is more like a step-by-step tutorial than from start to finish kind of thing, but still showing my process, how I created it. I also added some glitter on top of the little pearls to turn them in a little like frosty looking. But I'll be seeing you within a week with a new video. Thanks again for watching. Bye!